Welcome back. Let's discuss books. Our guest this morning has written a story of a young woman who hopes to get the best education at a top European institution. She's also the last surviving descendant of the Watchers of Realms. This is a powerful race of light beings who watch over the Milky Way.
Well, in the novel, a titled dreamer, the Order of Makeba, Tanya Junghans, half South African and half Swiss girl, is on a mission to find her lower self and her higher self to complete her triad. The book is a genre-bending tale that draws from science fiction, magic realism, as well as modern race theory. The author, Tanya Junghans, joins us in the studio this morning just to talk a little bit about the book, The Order of Makeba. Thank you so much. And thank you for getting the memo. I think we all... The fact of the matter is that we're all coordinated and we're all wearing green. This is already working out. This is a great, this is a bestseller already.
This is how we start.
Just by that premise alone. But just talk to us a little bit about it. I love the cover, just actually having a look at the cover.
Thank you.
Yeah, but let's talk a little bit about Dreamer, the activation of Makeba.
Yes, so it's a young adult fantasy novel, and it was inspired by my daughter, who is half Swiss, half South African. And I thought at the beginning of COVID, you know, we're living in Switzerland. She doesn't know much about the Zulu culture as much as I do. If something were to happen to me, I'd like to leave her something that she could, you know, peruse over in the future and get her curious about her heritage from my side of the family. So I wrote this book based on that inspiration and the culmination of other elements. For example, I dream of some of these scenes when I'm sleeping at night, like the realm of the planets there. So I wake up in the morning, I'm like, wow, what was that? Let me put it in a book. So, and that's how it came together.
I mean, you talk about dreaming, and I was actually talking to Faith about it off air. You know, I was thinking in terms of my interpretation of what the story is really about. We're coming to see, at least in the black culture, with young South Africans, they are, you know, accepting their calling. They are embracing their calling. You know, where back then, and with our parents' generation, they kind of ran away from that. You know, so I was interpreting it as a sense of we are not paying attention to our dreams and paying attention to whatever messages we could be getting. If perhaps there is really a calling that we need to be embracing. And looking at it at that point, you know, are you perhaps even trying to help your daughter understand that that could be something that maybe is within her lineage and her heritage? It may not be there, but, you know, understand that this happens in the South African culture.
Yes, of course. As a Zulu person, culturally, my mom is Xhosa, my father is Zulu, but I was raised culturally as a Zulu person. Dreams are very important in our lives. We view dreams as an extension of our minds. In the morning, you wake up and you think, oh my goodness, I dreamed of a wedding. You know how it is?
Yes.
Oh, it means something is going to happen.
Yeah, everybody gets scared once you say that.
Exactly.
Everybody was wearing white. Oh, it means death.
No, exactly. So there are many cultures like that, indigenous cultures and other older cultures that view dreams as part of their daily life. And it does add and enrich a person's life in a way that they can explore their minds and come to terms with certain issues that they might not be able to articulate or even touch in their awake lives. And I wanted for my daughter to understand that culturally we are one of those people that walk side by side, basically live in two worlds. And our dreams are very important in the interpretation of our daily lives. It might not be literal, but sometimes it can be literal. It can be an omen. It can be just something that makes you discover yourself a bit more. And I just use those folklores and those beliefs and put it in a story that is an adventure that people of all ages can enjoy. Yeah.
You know, Tanya, on the other side of it is navigating the issue of race. A lot of biracial children, for example, try to find their place in identity and try to find their place in the world.
Yes.
A lot of them you'd hear, and I've got friends like this who'll say, sometimes I'm not too black and I'm not too white, or I'm not black enough and I'm not white enough. You know, and in both of these worlds, it's almost like they struggle from a societal perspective. They know that they're the merge of two or three, whatever. But on the societal perspective, it's like there's an expectation from society to make a choice. Choose whether you want to be a black person or identify as black, or choose whether you want to identify as white. And that becomes very exclusionary and very difficult to have with children. So how then do we start bringing out those themes? Because I can imagine lots of biracial kids listen to this and reading this and feeling, oh my goodness, I identify with some of the themes.
Yeah. For me, what's actually very important to remember is that being multicultural doesn't have to be multiracial. You know, I'm multicultural from a Xhosa and Zulu perspective. And because of how I was raised, I chose the Zulu culture, the one that I did the rituals for and the lifestyle of. And I think it's important that my daughter, who is biracial, to be able to identify that just because she's biracial doesn't mean that she can choose on the race side, right? But on a cultural aspect, she can use both of her cultures that she inherited as her birthright. And at a later stage, if she decides to want to explore her Zulu heritage, it is for her to do so. And she can be guided by my family members here in South Africa and walk the path that I walked and do her coming of age rituals if she likes. And it is her birthright. She doesn't have to feel any intimidation about it. And a lot of people are forced, as you said, to choose, are you black or are you white? Or you this? That's okay. If you want to do that, it's your choice. I don't feel that it's necessary. You are just biracial, and that's fine. But on the cultural side and the heritage side, you definitely do not have to choose. You can decide one day, I want to do both my cultures and explore that and live it, and it's fine as long as you have guidance from your culture to teach you the right ways of doing it.
Tanya, I wish we could talk about this for the full 3 hours, but you know, the glory that is live television, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. But thank you so much.
Understood.
We are definitely going to get ourselves so stuck into this book.
It's good.
Thank you for leaving it there. It's good.
She won the colours on top of that, so she's winning already.
Of course.
With that.
Now, thank you so much, Tanya, for joining us here on
No, thank you for having me.